Welcome back, beautiful travelers, to another video. On today's video, we are going to be discussing ambulantes. Before we get into it though, I gotta warn you that today while I was editing my videos, I realized that this video that you're watching today got messed up. And basically, most of the video that I recorded for this topic had no sound, and I would have to re-record the whole first part of the video all over again. So here I am doing the work again, and I just hope I remember everything I have to say. If you're new to my channel, my name is Stef, and I love giving travel advice to people coming to Peru. So without further ado, let's get into today's video. Today we're going to be discussing ambulantes, and I believe I have discussed ambulantes in the past when it comes to like street food. So if I can find that video again, I'll reference it and put it up here for you to watch afterwards. But there are many different types of ambulantes, and an ambulante, what that really means is just a mobile kind of person that is in the street selling their things. These are people that don't have official stores or stands. They just kind of pop up on the streets and sell whatever it is that they're selling, whether it's clothes, it's jewelry, it's books, it can be food like fruit or whatever. These are just people that are kind of walking around selling something. That's an ambulante. In Lima, you will typically find ambulantes outside of Miraflores and San Isidro. And the reason for that is that Miraflores and San Isidro, they do control their streets a lot more. And so anytime ambulantes do try to pop up on their streets, they will kick them out promptly. So you don't see them as often in those districts, but outside of those districts, you will see them a little bit more frequently, especially when you're in the city center of Lima or when you're in more underdeveloped districts. You will definitely see ambulantes everywhere. So ambulantes will either show up on a street with their wares or their items that they're selling in a bag or some kind of container, or maybe like a trolley that you find at the supermarket, and they will just open up their little mobile shop, I guess, on the sidewalk and just put their wares out for them to be able to sell. Or they can also be walking around and be mobile and go from place to place, especially when you're in areas where they might sell clothes. You'll see ambulantes holding up hangers full of clothes or just different like stacks of clothes, walking it around, offering them to people. And another type of ambulante that you can see is people who sell their items on these things that we call here triciclos, which triciclo in English literally I guess means tricycle, but it's not really a tricycle in the sense that you might imagine it, because they have a little thing where they place their items that they're selling. And typically you'll see these triciclos going around the city selling fruit in particular a lot of times. In Lima, there is typically quite a bit of tension between the people and ambulantes. So there is tension between ambulantes and store owners or shop owners, because ambulantes are not paying for a special kind of permit to be able to sell their wares or their goods in the streets. They are not paying any taxes or any of those kinds of things. And so shop owners find that to be really unfair, because they do have to pay for whatever permits or licenses or taxes that they have to do in order to operate, whereas the ambulantes don't, because they're informal sellers basically. And then the people in general of a district will oftentimes have issues with ambulantes in their area, because ambulantes will just pop up on the sidewalk in public areas and just take up a lot of space. And sometimes it is a little bit uncomfortable, walking down the street and then you have all these other people occupying the space, and it's hard for people to come and go on the street because all these other people are taking up space. They also sometimes, a lot of times, leave litter or junk and these kinds of things. And so obviously that makes the neighborhoods look unsanitary, and these are just some of the issues that people have with ambulantes. There are lots of pros and cons when it comes to buying from an ambulante. For example, ambulantes will oftentimes sell whatever it is that they're selling for cheaper than what you would pay in the market or in a store, and that's a pro there. That said, if anything should go wrong with the thing that you bought from them, you can't necessarily find them easily or have them give you a refund potentially to resolve that issue, because of the very nature of how they operate. Whether or not you should buy from an ambulante is entirely your choice, and I say that because I understand the frustrations that store owners, shop owners have with the ambulantes not paying any kinds of taxes or for permits and stuff that they do, and so that definitely is unfair. However, I do see the other side of the coin or the situation, which is, the fact that a lot of these ambulantes are working and operating in this way because it's legit probably the only way that they really have that works for them to help support themselves and their families. There are people who opt for this kind of way of living and working because a lot of times they have young children and they can't afford to put them in daycare, or they don't have anyone to take care of their kids. And so being in one spot and selling their wares, their goods, allows for them to be with their kids while also making some kind of money to sustain themselves, right? I believe that if the government officials here actually did want to do something about our ambulante problem, they would have created programs or things to help these people get the education, the resources, the tools, whatever it is that they need to keep them off the streets and help them to move forward and step into entrepreneurship in ways that are actually going to be contributing to society in a healthy manner. See, if I were the benevolent dictator of this country, we would have corrected this situation by now, because there is no need for our people to be on the streets in this way. Like, no. You already know Peruvians. If I ever run for office, hashtag benevolent dictator Stef, I got you. Returning back to the topic, I have definitely bought from ambulantes here and there. Sometimes ambulantes come on the bus and they sell candy, they sell watches, keychains, whatever. And so sometimes I will buy something from them. I've even bought little like earphones or headphones, whatever you want to call them, for my cell phone once. And most recently, when I went to the mountains with my brother, we were walking back to go to the hotel and get our stuff to get on the bus, and we saw some ambulantes on the side selling their clothes and stuff. And I saw this sweater and I loved it immediately. Look at how gorgeous it is. Like, I just loved it so much. And I was like, oh my God, I need that. And I think it costs like 50 soles or 45 soles. I can't remember. It's like handmade, right? And this probably would have gone for a lot more in an official store that sells these kinds of things. But you know, I got it for a little bit less because you can get things for a little bit cheaper for the ambulantes. And it wasn't necessarily about the money. I just really loved the design and I had to have it. So I got it. Also recently, I got 2 big old bags of agua y manto. If you haven't yet seen my video on agua y manto, I'll link it up here in the corner for you to go click on and watch later and learn all about the agua y manto fruit here in Peru. I got a whole 2 kilos of agua y manto for 5 soles, which was like a steal, because if you watch my video on agua y manto, I got half a kilo the other day for just 4 soles. And this time I got 2 kilos for 5 soles. Like, that was major savings. And I also got a kilo of Hass avocados the other day from a triciclo for just 3 soles. So those are some major savings because I got 6 avocados for just 3 soles. And sometimes if I find them for cheap, one of those little Hass avocados will just cost me like 1 sol, sometimes 150. So, but I got 6 and I got 6 for 3 soles. So those are like major savings. Sometimes the regular big avocados, the palta fuerte avocados, one of them by themselves is like 2 or 3 soles. I got 6 avocados for 3 soles. Like, I got a great deal. Okay, travelers, I believe I have re-recorded the parts that I needed to re-record thus far. So I'm just going to leave you with the rest of my original footage. And thanks for hanging in there with me. I hope that this wasn't too crazy or confusing or messy. I will see when I start editing this video. Okay, my beautiful travelers, while I was editing, I realized I needed a clip that went in between the new clips and the old clips. So basically in this video clip that you're seeing that has no sound, but I'm voicing over, basically I'm just saying I'm going to go and take the little leaves off of the agua y manto to try the agua y manto for myself, because there are pros and cons to buying really cheap fruit from the ambulantes, and I wanted to kind of share my experience live. So that's it. Alright, so I've peeled all of the agua y mantos from one bag, and I got like 2 of these, but the first one I cleaned out and I put it in this Tupperware. I'm going to wash these. Oh, that's what I wanted to say. I'm going to wash these and also put it in here. But these were the ones out of the whole entire bag that went bad. It's just a handful. It's probably about like 10 or so that went bad, which is not too bad for, you know, the price that I got these for. Okay, so I have this whole thing full of agua y manto from just one of the bags. Some of these were kind of green, and the leaves were kind of green on the outside, so I was like, ooh, those are going to be really sour. But I wanted to try them just to kind of show you my experience. I had about 4 or 5 of the agua y mantos. They weren't like particularly sweet. They were okay. So that's kind of the downside from buying fruit from a triciclo or a fruit vendor is that sometimes the fruit isn't always the best. I mean, it's okay, you know, maybe there are other ones that are even more delicious in the Tupperware of Agua Manto, but just the ones that I had, they were okay. They weren't bad. I could probably make a juice with them or something if I didn't want to eat them as a snack because they just weren't sweet enough for me. So yeah, that's basically it. We have different types of ambulantes here in Peru. They sell all kinds of different things. These are the pros and cons of buying from them. Now it's up to you to use your discernment and to just judge whether you want to support them or not. It's up to you. And I hope that this information served you well. So if you enjoyed this video, if you got something out of it, please give this video a thumbs up. It helps my channel. It helps this video reach other people who want to learn more about Peru and want to be prepared for when they come to Peru. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't yet already. And if you want to stay connected with me on social media, you can find me on Instagram and TikTok as Evolving with Stef. I have another YouTube channel also called Evolving with Stef. I haven't been on there much lately, but I will eventually. But I'm on the social medias, so you can connect with me there. And that's it. Thanks for tuning in today. I have loads more content coming up. I'm working on a bunch of different things. I created a whole monthly calendar for the next 3 weeks on different things that I'm going to do and record and places I'm going to go to get footage, etc. And I was planning on starting this yesterday. But my neighbors decided to have a whole party outside, you know, I don't know how to explain it, but like outside my window, there's this little courtyard space in the building that I live in, and they rent it out for parties and stuff. And yesterday they started the party at 11:30 in the morning, people. Like, what in the world? And they had the party go until 8 o'clock at night. I was waiting all day. I got my hair, you know, pretty and everything yesterday for this, you know, video recording session, and I couldn't do it at all because the music was on blast. It's part of living in Latin America. People are loud as hell with their parties. Maybe that's a video for another day. Let me know if you want to know about that. The differences between, I don't know, like American, European, maybe Australian. I haven't been there, but like culture versus Latin America, like in Peru at least. And so I couldn't record that yesterday, and I just was like, you know what? I'm just gonna wait till tomorrow, which is today, and I am gonna get all these videos done, hopefully, you know, because I only have so much energy. So I have all these things that I'm gonna be working on to have videos to post. My intention is to have at least 3 videos a week go out, and it just depends on how I can keep up with all the video editing and uploading and posting and all the different things, because it does take a lot of time and energy to do this. Which is why, you know, I'm open to support via likes, via comments, via subscribing and sharing my videos, because it does help my channel. But yeah, I am working on a bajillion things, and you know, stay tuned, and I'm excited to share all the different things that I'm going to be sharing with you over the next few weeks, months. We're going to see where this adventure takes us. So anyway, travelers, stay curious, keep traveling, and as always, I'll see you in the next video. Bye.